everyone. Today I'm painting Freddie Mercury from a reference photo that could not be more perfect, and it's going to give me the chance to show you how I paint fur and gold too. So there's a lot going on here, and this painting took about 4 hours for me to complete. That doesn't count the hour I spent drawing Freddie and applying masking fluid to all the highlights. I also spent a solid 15 minutes just staring at the photo and figuring out a plan of attack for this painting. There's an interesting lighting situation here. His face is in the spotlight and is very pale and almost bluish in places, while the back of his neck is a little closer to his real skin tone. So I've built up a lot of yellow, orange, and tan colors here. Then I'll build up his features with more delicate colors, and this involved a real mixed bag of paints, including blue, pink, purple, green, orange, and yellow, all thinned down with lots of water. His eyes are closed, and I like the shape of this eye in profile, although we're in an awkward phase of the painting where his lower eyelid kind of looks like it could be the white of his eye, and that's all wrong. His mustache and top lip become a single shape with a lot of color going on. I'll add more to it when this dries. Now I'm tightening up the darkest parts, and I'm feeling better about that eye. What a beautiful face. I'm adding more color to the pale parts of his face, which I hope you can see here. I'll put in a blue background later that will define his profile. As I painted Freddie, it dawned on me that he reminds me of my husband Jeff, especially when he was young. Here he is with some girl from his high school production of Guys and Dolls. That's a really fun makeup look there, Jeff. Moving on, let's give him an arm. Part of it is white, so I won't touch that with paint, and the rest involves a lot of the colors I used on his neck and face. I'll skip over the wristband and begin his hand. And just like that, we have a red cape. This is mostly cadmium red light, and I'll drop some alizarin crimson and dark purple in the shadowy parts. We're coming up on a time jump here. My phone ran out of memory while I painted his hair and started his crown. Sorry about that. His hand is in a weird, almost claw-like position here, and this hand is just gonna look strange for a while. I'll keep coming back to it and tightening it up. It's got that half pale, half golden thing going on. Next, I'm adding some shadows to his arm. As you can see, that strange combination of colors has blurred and dried into something resembling skin, but again, the spotlight is bringing out a lot of blue in it. The white fur on his crown and cape are fun because they reflect colors and shadows, which I'm exaggerating here with blue, yellow, and some warm tones. Then, to reward myself for completing this painting session, I'm filling in the background with a mixture of cobalt blue, cyan, and purple. This defines his arm and face in a satisfying way. So it's the next morning, and I'm all about that crown. To make the crown sparkle, I've dotted masking fluid all over the whitest parts, and I've painted a light yellow over the top of it. I've also painted the big red jewels and the blue shadows. Today I've gone over the darkest parts with a deep purple mixed with dark blue. And now I'm painting a warmer gold over some of that light yellow. For the sake of speed, I'm painting this crown in a more impressionistic way. I'm not worried about getting every single jewel and sparkle exactly right, but I am looking at my lights and darks very carefully. Next, I'm skipping around and intensifying colors, and then I'll paint another layer of super dark red shadows on the cape. I want the cape to look very rich and soft. I have some yellow details to add near his shoulder, and there are some gold decorations near the bottom of the cape, and I've masked them off and will paint them last. I've removed the masking fluid from his crown, and I'm happy with the way that looks. Whenever I'm lucky enough to look at a Rembrandt and he's painted gold-encrusted jewels or opulent fabrics, I like to stand as close as possible and study what's going on there. A lot of those things can be accomplished with a really fast-looking brush stroke, and those impress me so much. Creating effects like this with watercolor is a little different than what you can do with oil paint, but that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. I think the crown is looking pretty good thanks to that masking fluid. Next, I'll make that fur trim look even fuzzier by rubbing a bit of damp paper towel over the edge of the blue. it couldn't be easier to do, and it's as close to being a magician as I am ever going to get. I just want to reach out and touch that fur now. Okay, now I have those 6 decorations to paint along with some other finishing touches, along with those little black bits on the white fur trim. Last week I was very busy with a portrait of my niece Eve, and when I posted the finished painting on Instagram, Rachel, one of my followers, asked me if I'd paint Freddie, and I was like, of course. Since Bohemian Rhapsody hit theaters, I've noticed a real uptick in Queen's popularity among young fans, which I think is wonderful. Like most people of my generation, I grew up loving Queen, and when my sister was very small, I felt the need to teach her how to sing Bohemian Rhapsody in its entirety, and she and I sang that song countless times in the backseat of the car for Mom and Dad, our captive audience. I mean, what a hero, what an entertainer. I had such a good time painting him. I'm untaping the painting, which at 14 inches is a bit too tall to stay in the frame of the camera, but I'm glad I painted him this size. I hope you've enjoyed watching me paint Freddie Mercury. Here's the finished painting. Thanks a lot for watching.